Welcome, Marvel nerds. I need your help because I'm caught in a time paradox. As you know, Marvel Studios' Doctor Strange deals in themes of time manipulation, but has the movie altered time here in the real world? It's pretty well established that each movie in the MCU timeline takes place chronologically, with the exception of Captain America's World War II origins. But has Doctor Strange deviated from that? Details in the film say no. And yes. The conundrum starts here in this scene at the beginning of the film. Stephen Strange is in a car talking to an assistant about possible surgery candidates.
Billy, what do you got for me?
I've got a 35-year-old Air Force colonel, crushed his lower spine in some kind of experimental armor, mid-thoracic burst fracture.
Most people in the theater probably had the same reaction I did. The injured man in the experimental suit is Lieutenant Colonel James Rhodes, aka War Machine, after getting knocked out of the sky by Vision and hitting the ground at terminal velocity in Civil War. A cool little casual connection between the two films, placing them sequentially like all the others, right? But wait! Rewind that clip and listen again.
I've got a 35-year-old Air Force colonel, crushed his lower spine in some kind of experimental armor.
Experimental suit? He's been publicly fighting as War Machine on his own and with the Avengers for years. That's not an experimental suit. If that were Rhodey, wouldn't the person say, "Hey Doc, wanna operate on War Machine?" And no offense, Don Cheadle, but you're not passing for 35 years old anymore. And the MCU wiki has you being born in 1968, so you're pushing 50, bub. Some people believe that crash scene takes place way back during Iron Man 2 in 2010 when Justin Hammer was developing his experimental suits for the government. Remember this?
Turn to the right. Oh, shit! Oh, shit!
Wow.
That would place the beginning of Doctor Strange 6 years prior, which also conveniently gives Doctor Strange years to recover from his injuries, travel to Nepal, and study to master the mystical arts, like his traditional origin story does. But wait! If that's the case, then why do we see Avengers Tower in this shot of the New York City skyline in the early part of the film? And right here, before the crash scene, we see an award plaque to Stephen Strange engraved with the date 2016. So now we're back in the present day, right? But what about this scene from 2014's Captain America Winter Soldier when Cap is interrogating the Hydra mole?
Zola's algorithm is a program for choosing insights targets.
What targets?
You, high school valedictorian, Iowa City, Bruce Banner, Stephen Strange, anyone who's a threat to Hydra, now or in the future.
So if Stephen Strange is a threat to Hydra at that point, does that mean he's already begun his sorcerer's training 2 years before? Or does that mean that Zola's algorithm is so advanced that it is predicted that Strange would eventually become superpowered, even if he was just a surgeon at the time? If it's the latter, that brings the beginning of Doctor Strange back to the MCU present in 2016, but then how did Doctor Strange become a master of the mystic arts so quickly? And if the injured soldier is Rhodey, why did they make a point to say he's 35? Also, this may be nitpicking, but in Civil War, Tony says James Rhodes shattered his L4 and S1 vertebrae, which are at the bottom of the spine. But the assistant on the phone says the mystery patient has a mid-thoracic burst fracture, which is in the mid-back area. Can any biology majors back me up on this? Most of the evidence points to the theory that this was all about War Machine and set in the present. But maybe, just maybe, Marvel is intentionally throwing us off, making us question the timeline in a film all about bending time. Remember that plaque that shows us it starts in 2016? Well, it immediately continues on to a drawer full of timepieces picked up by Doctor Strange, a man who is shown several times in this movie playing a game where he's guessing at the year of certain songs.
Feels so good. Chuck Mangione, 1977.
Ha! It's 1978.
No, Billy. Well, Feels So Good may have charted in 1978. The album was released in December of 1977.
Has Marvel invited us to be guessing at the year too? So what do you think? When do the different parts of this movie take place? Who is the Colonel? Comment below and make your voice heard. And make sure you subscribe so you can come back and check out the next videos here at Nerd U. And I will see you next time, nerds.